You're not going to believe this. New details on a book coming out about... No, I'm just kidding. We do have a show coming up. We're going to talk Caleb Williams because there's some good stuff from Albert Breer this morning. A new episode of 1920 Football Drive came out. We got special guests in studio with us today as well. CHGO Bears starts right now. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast, back from Memorial Day weekend, and special guests in studio.
Yeah,
you guys can applaud.
Yeah.
You guys can applaud.
Yeah.
We got the Humboldt Park Patriots in studio with us, an awesome youth football organization here in the city of Chicago. We're going to feature them a little bit later on in the show and hear more about that, but just something that football fans everywhere, but especially here in Chicago, should know about with the opportunity to support. So it's awesome having some of the Patriots in with us today, and we will talk to them later on in the show. Mark Carman, Greg Braggs, how you guys doing?
Great. Extended weekend. Had a little fun with the family.
There's nothing that excites me more than a live studio audience. I feel like we're on The Price is Right here, which is a reference that none of these guys get. But this is big for me, Hoge. I know you organized this, so super excited to try to have a positive impact on the youth of Chicago, which it's questionable whether or not I can do that. But the Caleb stuff from Albert Breer,
congrats. Don't start with the harmonica.
I don't even have it on me, unfortunately. Good. There is breaking news about the golf event, which is coming up, and don't forget we're giving away tickets to Cubs Reds on Friday that people need to know about.
Oh, that's this Friday already.
That's this Friday.
Okay.
So we might want to mention that on the program as well.
Why don't you mention that link?
So, okay. Do we got that link, Steven? We do. All you have to do to get 4 tickets to Cubs and Reds this weekend and or set yourself up for 2 tickets, Cubs and White Sox, is download the Rate app, which, by the way, 800 free wellness videos. As I said last week, I learned how to make a matcha on there. Hoge, you should learn how to make a matcha.
I've had a matcha.
Well, you've had one, but you don't know how to make one.
I have no idea what a matcha is.
You need more matcha in your life too. So, yes, if we have that the link that Steven's popping in on the old chat there, allchgo.com/rate. Register, download the app, get yourself in. We'll announce the tickets later in the week, but 4 tickets in the bleachers for Friday. Hang with Gregory and the Cubs crew. I'll probably try to sneak in there as well. And then 2 tickets to the Rate Suite, Cubs Sox on the south side, which is going to be sweet. All you got to do is hit that link in the chat, allchgo.com/rate. Register, get yourself involved. We're giving away the tickets, baby.
Yep. Very exciting stuff. And the golf outing, too, we'll tell you more about later on. But we have, I think, limited spots still available if you want to come out next Friday. It's a week from Friday, the golf outing. So we'll tell you more about that a little bit later on in the show. All right, so let's jump right into it. There is some Caleb Williams things to talk about this morning, but much different from all the things last week that people are tired of hearing about. We get it. Albert Breer, in his Monday morning quarterback, it's actually Tuesday, but it's after a holiday, so dropping this morning, had some good nuggets on Caleb Williams and his just adjustment to the new regime with Ben Johnson. So I'm going to actually read some of this. Not all of it. It's not terribly long. But look, there's some things in here that I think we got to sort through what matters, what doesn't matter. I mean, hearing that Caleb Williams is bought in on Ben Johnson is, I would hope so at this point. That's not necessarily new, but there are some details in here that I think are super interesting. I think we knew this, that, he came to the press conference. We saw him at the press conference. We're talking about the introductory press conference, but that gave Caleb Williams an opportunity to sit down face-to-face with Ben Johnson right away. And he spent a lot of time around the building, apparently, right after that. So it wasn't just Ben Johnson. When you have that period from like January to really when the players are in the building most of the winter, it's really just the coaches that are in there. So that gave an opportunity to have Caleb Williams meet and get to know Declan Doyle, JT Barrett, getting all that stuff sort of ahead of the game before the offseason program actually started.
Yeah, so Breer writes that said from day one, Williams' buy-in on Ben Johnson has been high. The 23-year-old was there with DJ Moore, Rome Odunze for the introductory press conference, as he writes, which is a small but notable thing for a guy coming off his rookie year. That, in turn, gave the two their first chance to sit down and talk face-to-face. It also showed that Williams had an understanding of the responsibility that would come with his place as the Bears franchise quarterback, which would be Johnson's starting point. Williams was around the building a lot from that point forward, which gave Johnson, offensive coordinator Declan Doyle, and QB's coach JT Barrett a shot to organically build their relationship, and that facilitated some hard truths to be doled out at the start of the offseason program in April, which I thought was super interesting that he wrote it that way.
Well, so there's two areas of specifically, and I'm going to read this part to you because I think this is where this gets pretty interesting. There were two areas where the coaches wanted improvement from Williams, both related to how he carried himself as the quarterback. Listen up, kids. Here, this is important stuff for the players too.
They literally pay more attention to what you do after the play than what goes on during the play. They want to see how you react, what's going on there, because that's where you're really showing yourself. Keep going.
So one was body language. The other was pre-snap procedure. On the former, while the coaches understood the beating he took, they showed film to emphasize how he'd been slow to pull himself up off the ground. It was a long year. People got fired. And in adverse circumstances, the staff explained having a quarterback who was rolling with the punches would go a long way. On the latter, there was a smattering of small things. Like on the first play of one game, he turned to his left thinking the motion was coming when it was actually coming from the right. That needed to be cleaned up. To Williams' credit, he welcomed every piece of criticism in an effort to get better, which allowed the staff to move quickly to a lot of Lions tape to give Williams an idea of what Johnson would be bringing with him from Detroit and Matthew Stafford film to bring some visuals to what they'd like to work him toward technique and fundamentals-wise. I thought that was interesting because Stafford wasn't in Detroit when Ben Johnson was. So it's interesting that they chose Stafford film to show him there.
That is interesting.
Greg ran over to the other side here of this operation and was immediately like, I think that might have been the Arizona game.
Yeah.
And so we're going to look at some film after the show and see if we can figure that out.
Because it's the first play of the game. So we'll have to figure that out. Because not only is it, when you're watching the tape, Ben Johnson, you're evaluating this stuff. As we went through with Fields on that first play of the game against the Vikings where he gave up the sack.
2 years ago.
You are planning that throughout the week. It's your first play of the game. Like, this isn't something, 3 quarters in, the bullets have been flying. That's something where you've been preparing and you didn't know the operation beforehand. You're a rookie. Your offensive coordinator's been jettisoned. You've got a lot of different turmoil going on around you, but that does not excuse you from those little details. And that's the hope, is that Ben Johnson and this staff are going to hammer those details out right now. And that's why last week, when you hear how he's getting in Cole's face and getting in these guys' grill a little bit, it's encouraging for me as a fan that knows, hey, they're holding them accountable now before we start to get the bullets flying here later in the year.
Yeah, and look, those details about some of the pre-snap stuff is not new. I mean, we talked about it last season. You could see it. You could see that it wasn't clean. The body language thing I find interesting, and I like hearing it too, speaking to that higher standard, because I think for the most part, we actually sat here and was like impressed with how Caleb handled last year, with how bad it actually was and how the toughness he showed. Like, I didn't necessarily pick up on him being slow to get up. We got sacked 68 times.
Yeah,
at some point you are going to be slow.
We had a couple moments where there was some dramaticness, but it's hard for me as a fan to blame him after 68 sacks and getting put to the turf as many times. And sometimes those were to his own fault, but it's just frustration. So I'm a little surprised that was one of the bigger points of emphasis.
But I like that they're holding him to that standard, like still showing him examples, even if it was like 2 out of the 68 sacks.
As someone,
like eliminate it. completely.
As someone who at times has pointed out things that weren't perfect about Caleb, I don't know if I think I might have the lead on that on this show, which has put me in the fire of a couple of Bears fans out there. For the record, let's go Caleb. Let's have a great season. I didn't notice the getting up slow. I never noticed that, to your point. But I love that that's what they're looking at, because I did notice and did hear whispers of just his overall leadership, liking in the locker room, that type of stuff, and to the point of the motion play where he's going the wrong way. Also, just his understanding of the game, which was lagging. So the fact they're calling him out on it, and he's hearing it well, and they're seeing it, and they're being nitpicky about this, and this. I think ultimately that could be a huge thing for how he resonates in the locker room, and just and his overall success on the field. Period.
And I'm assuming that standard will be held with everyone on the team as
exactly.
well, because there was just times other players had these moments. Obviously, DJ Moore comes to mind a few times. So that's fine. You want to hold Caleb accountable to those things. Just it goes without saying, but the rest of that locker room, the entire team needs to be held to that standard.
Right. He's screaming at Cole Kmet. I'm sure DJ's going to get his. There's open season on whoever's not living up to the standards. That's how it should be, at least.
Yeah. And then just a few more details from this. Progress thus far has been steady, and Williams is working at it. The Bears adding Case Keenum to the quarterback room was indeed intentional.
This is interesting.
And Williams is taking advantage of it and using Keenum almost as another coach after hours to work around the CBA mandated limits on what the coaches can actually do with the players at this point in the calendar. And on the field, Williams has been good for at least one did he really do that throw every day.
Which he did all of last year at camp and during the game. He'd always have one or two. Wow, can't believe that happened. But I do like this Case Keenum angle. This is the Bears getting slick. And
well, this is just an area that they lacked last year by not having that person, because I think there are limits to what you can do, especially this time of year. And I think then this is where this sort of does cross over with this film conversation that was going on last week, because even in the season, okay, you might have free reign to work as long as hard as you want to with the coaches and stay as late as you want to, but at some point you need to be professional on your own too. But it helps having a veteran quarterback who's been in the league forever to kind of show you, hey, this is what I would do late at night. Or, this would be my routine. I get home, and then that's going to change because eventually you're going to have a family, and then you have those obligations to adjust to. Like, these are all things that Patrick Mahomes has gone through. So just having that guidance from somebody like that right now in Case Keenum, I think is huge.
Well, let's talk about just normal human beings here. Tyson Bagent's going to be a third-year quarterback. He was a second-year quarterback last year. If Caleb didn't get something to call up Tyson and be like, hey, can you help me out with this? Or who was the third quarterback last year? Austin Reed, a rookie. Hey, I'm not sure about this. Can you help me? That's an awkward thing to do. You don't want to admit to someone who's that young as well that you're not getting it. So then who does he turn to? I'm shocked that there wasn't somebody on the coaching staff, or it's disappointing there wasn't somebody on the coaching staff. I wouldn't say that I'm shocked, because the coaching staff was a little bit awkward, I thought, the way it was put together, obviously. But now the Keenan thing, I was watching him at OTAs last week. He and Tyson are alternating who's the two. And every time he subbed in for Tyson, he made it was an over obvious high five, great job, rooting him on as he came in to relieve him and take the next reps. This guy has the reputation of being just the greatest dude in the room, the most likable guy ever. So it was very smart of the Bears to bring in a veteran who can, whatever, you're going to give him 2 reps, but more so that can partner with Caleb. I think they needed somebody like this, and it's credit to Poles and company for going out and getting him.
And for me, my final thought on this is going back to this whole smattering of the small things and the pre-snap procedures, because it's easy for us as fans to say it was all Shane Waldron's fault. This team was in disarray.
Yeah, you've been making that point.
He doesn't hold any accountability to these things. And this is why it is crucial that Ben Johnson hammers these details out to say, he's looking left and the guy is actually motioning from his right side and you don't know it. you can walk up to the line of scrimmage and point and act like, hey, yeah, and be calling out protections and audibles, but you might not actually know what you're saying. And so for us on TV, we're like, oh man, look at how he's commanding the huddle. Look how he's commanding the line of scrimmage. Well, you got to know what you're looking at. And that goes back to what we were talking about last week, where he was talking about, hey, I need help with watching film, and nobody was helping me watch film. So having not just the understanding of how to make plays once the whistle, is once you're in between the play, but knowing what you're looking at during the week on film and before the play is snapped is going to be the biggest part of Caleb Williams' progression this year, and if he can take that next step in his game.
And by the way, someone in the comments pointed out, I don't think I was clear enough earlier. So with Matthew Stafford, why I find that interesting is because the years Ben Johnson was the OC, obviously Jared Goff was his quarterback. They did overlap there for a couple of years because Ben Johnson got there in 19 as a quality control guy and then was the tight ends coach in 2020. Stafford got traded, I think. Yeah, it was the following year after that. So a little bit of overlap there. Find that definitely interesting. And I believe Caleb has talked about in the past, too, about Stafford, just as being one of the guys that he looks up to.
He's a big Stafford guy. But I think it's a great little call out by you, Adam Hoge, that, hey, you're not this pocket passing, not.
Well, it's just Jared Goff doesn't match Caleb really at all. And Stafford does, even not to that level, but I could see way more similarities there when they're talking, trying to come up with a comp that he can learn some things from. Right. All right, we got more coming up. There was a new episode of 1920 Football Drive that the Bears put out. Carm's got, we have to bring up, is this going to be a sponsored Carm's Notes segment? Because he's got a lot, apparently. And I have notes, too. So we got that coming up next. But first, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, new customers get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. You can sign up, use code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. And we've been talking about these early payout offers that are going on right now for the NHL playoffs, got the basketball playoffs, and then obviously there's baseball games every day. So in hockey, if your team goes up by 3 goals, you get an instant payout at any point in the game. These basketball games have been wild. There's been comebacks. Well, you might want to take note of this, because if your team goes up by 20 points, you'll get an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. And in baseball, if your team goes up by 5, that's also an instant payout. Bet365, the only ones doing this right now. So check them out. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, in-app only.
And just like your favorite team needs that home court advantage, you need the home floor advantage. If you're living out in the region in Indiana and you need some help with flooring, you better be calling Empire Today, the flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. You want to go to the big box store? No, you don't. You don't want to wander the endless aisles. You don't want to have somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. You want Empire Today, because they live and breathe flooring, and they're with you every step of the way. And they're coming to your home. You're going to pick the right flooring, the right colors in your space. They're going to do the measurements. They're going to give you the exact things you need right there. And if you're in a hurry, they're going to give you the ability to book it and schedule it the next day. So schedule yourself a free in-home estimate today. Some things are better at home. CHGO listeners, you get $350 off, a $350 discount when you use the promo code CHGO. You heard me right, a $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
All right. The Bears YouTube show, 1920 Football Drive. They put out a few episodes every year. It just depends on the season. And the one they put out this morning was about the draft season, about scouting, how they landed with the players they did in the draft. And there are some interesting nuggets. I don't know.
I've got
I'm a little worried.
I've got this many nuggets from that show.
A lot of nuggets.
A lot of nuggets. Yeah. Yeah,
All
there's
right.
a lot of
It's like
nuggets.
a
There's 30 minutes.
All right, let's hear it. You got 10 minutes, right? 9.5 minutes right now.
In less than 2 minutes, these are my notes on the
Value
newest.
meal of 30 nuggets here.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start out a little bit with Colston Loveland, and I like the fact that his locker is right next to Cole Kmet. All right,
the Nuggets better get better.
Right next to each other. Well, here's
Your first nugget is the tight ends are right next to each
I
other.
like they're like right next to each other.
We're not
it's
off
adorable.
to a great start,
All right,
Steven.
just relax. They said over and over again that Colston Loveland is going to be a culture changer.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't you guys been building this culture forever? Aren't you? Haven't you talked every year about your great culture? Colston Loveland's going to come in here and be our culture changer.
Well, come on, don't mock it. I mean, obviously.
No, I am going to mock it. That is a mock. You're putting too much on a 19-year-old culture changer. No, I didn't like it at all. And they started out the video with Loveland.
Didn't you see the video of him saying "little brother gonna little brother" talking about Ohio State? Come on, I like his attitude.
I'm not saying I don't like his attitude. You don't put the whole. Hey man, come in here, rookie
but he's
number.
not
He
putting
put the whole thing.
he's
They
not
just said he
You're
fit.
putting the whole thing.
They said he fit the culture.
No, they
No,
said
he
he's a
said-
culture changer.
Said he can be. Why does it have to be like right now?
Okay, you can
all right.
push back.
Just second nugget, not great. What's the third nugget?
All right. DJ Horde is one of their scouts. If Ruben Hippolyte sucks, it's on him. He was the guy in Maryland who was scouting him and saw him run this insane 40 and went nuts. So I hope DJ, I hope you're right.
All right, well, that's where one of your notes crosses over to mine. It wasn't just him. They showed all of the scouts. They were all like double checking their watches.
Right.
Like, did we get that right?
Right.
Was it really that fast?
Yeah.
They were all in awe.
Right. They are so in awe of the speed, which to me it's like, and we had Ruben Hippolyte on the show. I'm a Ruben Hippolyte fan. I love that he can run fast, but you know what I also like? If he can make plays and actually hit people really hard. So they're a little too excitey fasty for me. They also said you want to find that diamond in the rough around Ruben. It's like, okay, that's true. You do want to find diamonds in the rough, but it's also just we can go right down the middle and make smart. You don't have to be a genius here. I do worry about the Bears trying to be genius-like at times. Poles made 1,000 times throughout the video. You have no idea how hard these guys work. You have no idea how much of the grinding tape. You have no idea this. Like the Bears really want you to know how hard they work. I don't know if that's for us or if that's for the McCaskies who are paying them the salaries or whatever it is, but they really underline how much work's going on. Now, Ryan Weiss, do you know him, Hoge? He's one of their premium scouts. If Colston Loveland doesn't work out, put it on Reese. Weiss was in there talking about how people gravitate towards Loveland. Weiss is a big guy. And then how about when Loveland was talking to Poles and Poles like we are going to be great. There's a lot of confidence that they just got this thing figured out here. I like it. Another thing too.
Now it would have actually been a note if he was like, we're not going to be that good.
Thank you, man.
What do you want him to say? He just got drafted.
What other notes you got?
It's going to be great.
Let's go.
Hey, man, we appreciate you, man. Good to have you. It's just a little. Listen,
I'm going full Carm right now.
Yes, I'm going full Carm nitpick. We'll see. You won 3, 7, and 5 games. Let's chill out on the grade.
I'm giving you 2 more, and then I'm going.
Can we get to good? Here, and then if I only have 2 more. Steven, you ready for me? When they did the Loveland signing, I think the deer in the room moved, and I swear, if you look at the back wall,
I don't know if those are deer back there.
No, but so I was watching the room, and when I get to meet Colston Loveland, I got to find out who this uncle, cousin, or whoever is in the black hat who's just going, this guy is my favorite dude. Look at that dude. I could watch this out of replay. Look at, he bounces right up, and look at he's got a good Achilles there going up and down. That is my guy. I want to know who that is. Black shirt, brown belt. Don't worry about the color coordination. You're my dude. That's my guy in the Loveland family.
Maybe that's the guy that Ryan Poles mentioned, too.
Who is that
Because
guy?
he was on the phone with him. He's like, someone's getting after it in the back.
That's right.
Probably
I
him.
think it was him. That was. Look at that dude. Talk about somebody who has nothing in common with me whatsoever, but I want to get to know you. That guy. I
you
love
should
that
dress
dude.
like that.
I might have to dress like
This
that
week.
tomorrow.
Did you have one more?
I have 17 more, but go ahead.
All right,
Get in
go
there.
ahead, Hoge.
Okay, well, here's some of the football stuff. One of the scouts said that they had Luther Burden as the best rack player, run after catch player in the entire draft.
Yeah.
Like that specific attribute, the best one in the entire draft, and they got him in the second round. And then that led to, I cannot believe this wasn't on your list because I would have thought it would have been number one. Ryan Poles' wife texting him.
Oh, it's on the list.
In the middle of the draft.
She loves
the rack.
Yeah.
That's what she wants. Run after catch. That's what she was texting him about in the moment.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
I love that little detail. The entire draft room stopping and turning the volume up on Seth Rollins.
That was
Calling
good.
the pick,
Yeah, that was
and
good.
they all love that. They actually showed some footage of it. Ozzie Trapillo's combine interview, was really impressive, and it wasn't just them saying it was impressive. Like you were actually listening. He looked like calm, cool, collected, like he knew everything there was to possibly know about offensive line play. And they said he already sounds like a fifth-year vet. I love that.
Oh, yeah. What do you do on this play? Well, these are high.
Knowing how much room he has when the guard is lined up a certain way and able to answer that, and
yeah, it was impressive. And then I got two more. One was Dennis Allen first texted Ryan Poles on February 26th about Zay Frazier, the cornerback. Poles was literally in the draft room saying, "You texted me on the February 26th about this guy."
Yep.
Yeah. Did you also notice the minor detail right there that was a little slightly frightening? On the day they were drafting him,
right? He called him Zah.
He called him.
Yeah,
Zah.
I did notice that.
He called him Zah. His name's Zay.
Okay, we'll get there.
Well, okay, you're drafting the guy. You should know how to say his name. Just saying. I'm just saying.
1,000 prospects they're looking at. They got to get every pronunciation right.
You're only picking 7, 8 of them. You might want to know how to say his name.
Fair. I did think that was interesting though, between Al Harris getting his guy and then Kyle Monungai. When Eric Bieniemy talked, he's like, "Hey, we talked earlier. Ruben Hippolyte, the linebackers coach." Like you could just see how the groundwork for each of these coaches talking to these guys early in the offseason, and then it comes to fruition how they come in. And then I think the other takeaway for me is the guys they drafted, they didn't bring in for top 30 visits. Like each of them, they said, we met them at the combine, we met them at their pro day, but none of them were top 30 guys. So maybe that's a strategy. Maybe they won't implement. Hippolyte was?
Yeah, Hippolyte came in. They said it was like the greatest visit they had.
Okay.
I think there was at least one other one too.
They loved Ruben Hippolyte.
Yeah, and Shamar Turner. My biggest takeaway is where you went with it, Hoge. For me, it is clear that they hit a home run with Ozzie Trapillo. Like this guy to me is going to be someone that is a tackle for the future of this Bears team for the next 10 years. I am very confident of this. I think he is somebody that can anchor this offensive line. It's a perfect draft. He's very smart. He's physical. And so for me, the Ozzie Trapillo draft was my favorite, maybe my favorite one of this entire draft.
There was one little line in there too, and I couldn't tell if it was like a misspeak or because Ian Cunningham got up and he goes, "We got our offensive line."
Ooh, well, he's talking about Luke, he was talking about Luke Newman.
No, when they got Ozzie.
Oh, okay.
We got our offensive. Now I didn't know if he meant to say our offensive linemen, but it's like we got our offensive line. Like it was set.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that was interesting. And then they kept referencing this probability thing.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that?
Yeah.
So they had, and I knew a little bit about this, but I hadn't the way they were talking about it was almost like they didn't know if it worked or not until they were actually it was actually in the moment.
Well, Poles asked, "Is this been accurate?"
Yeah.
Which was another point of mine. I'm like, you should know if this has been accurate to this point, but it was a fair question. It sounds like it's something new.
Well, right. So they run all these simulations, and then they're basically making trades based on what the probability was telling them that X player would still be available at this number still, and apparently it was pretty accurate.
It's a good job.
So
let's do the math on what's likely. It makes sense to me.
All right, I'll give you one more note before we take a break. No, you.
Oh,
I'm allowing you to do one more.
Oh, I thought you had one
thank
more.
you, Adam. I appreciate the
I'm a little
opportunity.
scared. I might regret this.
I know, because he's going to slip in 3.
All right, well, let's talk about the Kevin Warren part of this.
Here we go.
You got the table. There's Poles, there's Ben. These are the power guys, and there's Kevin.
Yeah, that's not new. We've seen that every year.
I know it's not new, but when they're making trades and Kevin's turning to Ben, so we're getting 56 and we're getting 62, and Ben is like not turning at all, not even looking at him. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't think you belong in that seat. I'm sorry. Shouldn't you be in the executive room with some of the McCaskies having a Diet Coke and just being the CEO? Why? What do you?
McCaskies are in there too.
Yeah, in the back.
Okay.
What's he doing up there? I don't get it. Do you get it?
I do.
Am I the only one who thinks it's weird? Does Ben Johnson doesn't want to have that conversation with you?
I don't think it's necessary, but I also don't think it's weird that the president of the team sits in the front row.
I think he has more of a bearing in that room.
It's a little too forward for me. I think it's adorable.
I always think it's funny. Like the security guys are in there, like the guys that normally walk the detail with the players, like when they're out and about at Wrigley. Like the security guys in the back room. Like, why do you need security in there?
Right.
Who's
Braggs,
busting into the draft room?
Yeah, Braggs has a secret guy too that he's trying to figure out who somebody.
Yeah. Scout somebody.
The other one, because I know you gave me 2
then we
here.
got the water boy.
Yeah.
I gave you 1. I did not give you 2.
Well, here's
we're late for a break.
What about the Newman part? That's the best thing of the whole thing. Ian Cunningham thinking he's on the Johnny Carson show with the Newman stuff.
Yeah. I'm glad. Here's my take on that. I'm glad Ryan Poles didn't.
You can finish the show with a few more of your notes.
Okay, Thanks a lot, Greggy. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, special guest coming up next, but first,
Newman.
Our friends at Shady Rays are helping you get in the right frame of mind with their premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people, including myself, because their sunglasses have durable frames, crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. So many colors and styles available. I mean, literally, for any activity you want to do, they have sunglasses for you. And the best part is if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by their lost or broken replacement program. And if you don't love your shades, you can exchange them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. No risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. And right now, CHGO viewers and listeners, listen up. Go to shadyrays.com. You can save 35% off polarized sunglasses with code CHGO. Over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars. So go use code CHGO. Get 35% off at shadyrays.com.
And shout out to our friends at Monarch Money. That's right. Finances can be messy and they can be confusing, but Monarch Money is like your personal CFO. It gives you full visibility and control so you can stop earning and you can start growing. This is the app that makes it a whole lot easier to know exactly where you are spending your money so you can just get a better control on where you want to go. Start managing your finances to build the life you actually want. Monarch makes managing money simple, even for the busy lives. Track your spending, your saving, your investments effortlessly so you can focus on what matters most. Make your life goals, your biggest goals here, a reality. Monarch Money, the finance tool that people actually love. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use the code CHGO at monarchmoney.com. Put that in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code CHGO. Shout out to our friends at Monarch Money, helping you at least get a little more financially secure day by day.
All right, we mentioned this off the top of the show and very excited to welcome some special guests to the studio today here at CHGO, the Humboldt Park Patriots, an awesome youth football program from pretty much right down the road here. And Dale Crawford is with us. He is the Vice President of Football Operations, the President, Patrick Murray here as well. Thanks for coming in today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
So I know first of all, I want to give you guys the opportunity to explain what you do and why this is so important. Off camera, we have a bunch of the players in here. Maybe we'll get them in here towards the end here just to say hi. But
See some sweet sneakers on these guys. Love the Jordans out there. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so Dale, why don't you start? Because I know you reached out to me and just the way your vision and what you guys are doing, it's awesome to hear.
Yeah, I think really it all starts with Pat. So when my wife and we got married in August of 2018, but we bought a house in the Humboldt Park area in July of 2018. And I said, all right, well, we put down roots. Let's go find football, right? So I grew up in Austin, Texas, so just in my blood, right? Mm-hmm. So, when I played 6th grade football, I had coaches calling, going, hey, is he in the weight room this summer? That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I said, all right, that's how I can kind of get involved with the community. And so I reached out to the Patriots on Facebook, and I think within 2 or 3 days, Coach Pat and I were sitting down having a beer, and he said, all right, this is going to work out. We're going to be here. So I've been around ever since. And to be honest, the program has always been low cost and mission driven. It really always has. We just never really wrote it down in a way that really resonated. We just made it happen. Whatever it took, Coach Pat would load up his car. He'd put the grill in his car, the field markings. I mean, you'd be amazed what this guy can fit into a Chevy. And he'll set up a whole football field. He'll do it by himself, and he'll do it without asking anybody for help, with no resentment. And I said, Coach, you got to let me help. You're doing too much here. And so, it was really after COVID that we kind of broke the pipeline a little bit with kind of losing that season or losing that fall. We were struggling to get kids. We were joining Pop Warner. They have very strict requirements for helmet and uniform standards, and so it's going to cost some money to kind of keep it going. So we reached out to the Austin Eckler Foundation. They came through with a uniform grant, and so ever since then we've been trying to use that to continue to propel the program forward. And I would say the biggest news is our alderperson Jessie Fuentes in the 26th. She came to a game last year and just said, "You guys have been here for 20 years and you don't have goalposts?" And I said, "Yeah, we just chalk lines behind Little Cubs Field and we grow the program." She said, "Nuh-uh, we're going to change that." So they walked us over a couple months ago across to the boathouse and said, "How does this look?" And we said, "No." We said we're cannot wait. So we'll have goalposts for the first time, at least since I've been there. So that's kind of our story in a nutshell, and we're just excited to keep growing and keep bringing the mission to make sure that really the mission is cost is never an excuse for kids to be able to play football in our area.
Yeah, and I want to stop you right there too, and Carmen, let you follow up, but just like kind of pausing to understand, no rent for having to use this field. You guys, because the kids deserve having a real football field to play on. So, I mean, shout out to the city of Chicago for I don't know if it doesn't sound like the stadium's going to happen, but at least we can get places for young kids to be playing football. It's great.
Yeah. We'll take 1/100th of whatever that was going to cost. 1/1000th.
Pat, why was this something that was on your heart that you wanted to do?
Actually, you know what? I didn't plan it, so to speak. I went up there. I was dating a young lady at the time, and I went up there. I was thinking that I was just going to pick them up from playing at the park, and that was 22 years ago. Okay. And so when I went up there, he was trying out for football. One of the kids did a drill wrong or something, and I corrected it. And at the end of the day, former coach of the program, one of our main leaders, Coach Charles Hempfield, dragged me right in. And here I am 22 years later, and it's been awesome. So now we're creating the pipeline. I'm also the head coach of Roberto Clemente High School. So now we've got a pipeline created, and Dale and our board members are here, and one of my former coaches that coaches at another high school. We have a pipeline now. So we're sending them to from Humboldt Park to high school to college. It's just a big deal for us right now. We've never had this type of board in Humboldt Park, so we're thrilled to death. This has been a fabulous offseason for us right now.
Does Clemente still have the turf baseball field?
Yes.
I remember playing games there.
Oh, okay.
We used to always talk. Now all these places are starting to get turf fields because it makes sense. But back when I was playing high school baseball, it was like we would always love going there. Yes, Carm.
Well, I just you're making me. It's like football dreams. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Hoop Dreams, and Luther Bedford was a famous coach at Marshall High School, and he was super honest.
Okay.
I don't know if is that your style, Pat, or you know what do you?
I'm honest as much as I can.
Yeah.
So no, I'm honest.
I think one of his lines in there was like, "You guys are in a big hurry to do nothing," and that's exactly what you're doing. Nothing. Like I don't know what's your strategy as far as connecting to lift guys up, but also hold standards at the same time.
Well, lifting them up is easy because we have. We just get kids coming in and they'll walk down the street. We'll see a parent walk up to us and ask, and right away we'll just come in and that's family right away. So that's not a hard part. The standard is, as Coach Dale mentioned, no kid gets turned away at all. Period. Whether your parents make $80,000 a year or maybe $2,000 a year, no kid gets turned away. And so when they see that atmosphere and we bring in the love, and we're very diverse, as you can see. It's self-speaks, or it's self-speaks.
Well, that's Humboldt Park, you got some people who've got huge money, and you've got some people that don't have huge money.
Mm-hmm.
That's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Is the dichotomy of who you guys can be, getting an opportunity to coach.
It's a hard balance at first, but we never ran into a problem with it. People understood that other people's finances may not match theirs. There's never been any negative feelings towards one kid or one family. It's been amazing.
A lot of lessons to be learned. That's awesome.
Go ahead, Dale.
And I'd say it actually works to our advantage because when you do have a more affluent family, they bring their kids and they say, "This is amazing. This is what this city is all about." So we've never had an issue where if a kid needs help with rides or cleats or whatever, never once have we ever gone without. Some parent will pull us aside and say, "You know what? We'll take care of Adam's cleats. We got him. What size does he wear?" So it really works.
Yeah. Well, that being said, if people do want to help, I know we got some things we can show on the screen too. I know you guys are launching a 9U team, free skills camps, which is free skills camps. Let me repeat that, which is great. And I know your season fees are relatively compared to some of these other programs for sure. Mm-hmm. So, what do people need to know about this if they want to help out or participate?
Yeah, so, I think our fees are less than my parents paid to sign me up in 1994. Yeah. So we're $150 for 9U. That's really just to make sure that we can get them into the program and
that's awesome.
Teach them to start loving the game of football, teach them the right way. And we're $250 for our 11U and 13U, so still incredibly affordable with financial assistance available. We've like I said, the generosity of the community. We've never had fees be an issue. If we need the money for helmets or shoulder pads, we're always able to raise it, and so we just can't give enough thanks to the community. The camps are something we're really excited about doing. So on Saturdays we do 10 to 12, and we provide lunch, and it's really a chance for us to say this is our home turf. This is how we do it. We tailgate like a family. We coach like a family. So, we're having our last one before maybe a Sunday.
Next weekend. This weekend coming up.
Yeah.
We have our last camp, so to speak. Again, we'll be providing lunches for the youth after the camp. It's all free. It's all donated to the program.
That's awesome. Do people need to sign up for those, or can they just
if
they want to come up to this
they
last
can
one?
sign up, or they can just show up.
Absolutely.
It's basically, people won't go to the link but they show up. It's been fun. Yeah. We're looking forward to really grow. We'll keep the process going for another couple weeks. We won't have any more camps, but we do have approval through the Pop Warner website that we can do individual camps for a couple of days a week if we choose. So, and then we'll let them rest and get ready in July to go full speed. But for the most part, we got experience coming back. Our 9U is going to be really fun. I have to do that, normally. I try not to coach in the program as a head coach anymore, but I'm going to do it. It's been fun. So, and then my wife's involved, so it's easier.
Well, coach to coach. Obviously I'm well aware of the time commitment. So, respect to both of you guys, because it is. If people don't understand it, it is a more than a full-time job on top of the other jobs that we all have. So it's awesome, and it's all for the kids.
Well, what Adam's really trying to say is that he has plenty of time in his schedule, and he'd like to, in addition to the 17 podcasts and coaching at Carmel and everything else he does, plus his family, he'd love to spend more time on the field. Right? That's what you were saying?
Yes, and my wife would love it too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
For those listening to the podcast that maybe couldn't see everything we just threw up on the screen, where should people go? Website?
HumboldtParkPatriots.com. You can find all the information there. You can find phone numbers there. We have individual cards that we pass out throughout the community with self-contact. That's pretty much, the website that's launched, and everything's there. My phone number is throughout the community, throughout the city, really. Coach Dale's got his number out there just as much, so we're not hard to find. But for the skills camp, it's at the Humboldt Park Boathouse, Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon. As Coach Dale mentioned, we'll be providing lunch afterwards. And looks like good weather, so come on out, man. Yeah. Just come out and have a good time, learn some football. And we've had awesome speakers come out the last 3 weeks from north-south side, and we'll try to find a couple more this week, but come on out.
Yeah.
Come on out.
Well, and let's bring these players out too.
Let's go.
I mean,
come on out
they got their jerseys on, and these are the kids. Just come right behind us here, and they can see on camera as some of the players were able to.
Where's our favorite football players? Oh, she's coming? Okay.
You guys, I'll also add, you can email us at info@HumboldtParkPatriots.com. You'll get a canned response, but someone will follow up with you as well.
This is our favorite football team we've ever had on the show, guys.
Yeah,
excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, if there's anything else we can do to help you guys, we love it. It's great for the city, great for the neighborhood, I know. And congrats to you guys, and good luck
Appreciate
going
it.
into this season, okay?
Appreciate it.
Go win
Fired
some
up.
games. Let's go.
Right.
Here. No messing around.
Thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
It's good they're
Good luck.
good they're playing football based on some of the Papa shot I watched earlier too. So yeah.
They were getting after on the pop shot.
Yeah.
Get the ping pong was solid. Play all the sports. That's what I recommend. But focus on your football when you're doing your football.
Right.
You don't mess you guys up over there.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, guys, and you guys are more than welcome. Obviously, stay for the rest of the show. Got another 15 minutes of show here on CHGO Bears Podcast.
Yeah.
Except for him.
Coach Dale, you converted?
No, I'm a Bears fan.
Okay.
Yeah. My parents are from the southeast side. So I grew up.
Okay. Even though you're in Texas, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
Packers fans though. That's the most important thing.
Married one of those.
Awesome.
Rogue Agent 88, who's been taunting. Thanks so much.
Dale.
He's been
Appreciate
taunting Bajent the whole show's now, telling me that I couldn't make this team. I couldn't make this team. Rogue Agent.
Yeah.
You guys.
You guys can go back to your seats. Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank you
much,
guys for being
Appreciate
here.
it.
Awesome to be able to show what these guys have been doing. I gotta say, Carm,
I should have asked the question in the chat too, is Jordan or LeBron, but we didn't need to do that today.
Yeah, you can save that for later.
Yeah,
Even out in the suburbs, it's not all roses. I know, I live in Vernon Hills, and Vernon Hills had to basically merge with Libertyville. Because there's whether it's cost issues or just a number of players, and now we're kind of seeing this resurgence. And I know the Vernon Hills program's coming back this year, but so if you think about that even happening in the suburbs, you can imagine some of the challenges in the city too. So I love it. The more exposure to football and opportunities to play, even if it's flag football, which is cool that we're going to see that in the Olympics going forward and things like that. Although that started a new controversy. Did you guys see that over the weekend? Well, there's some real flag football players that have been dominating for a while. And they're we don't need Justin Jefferson.
Right.
They don't. I'm with
Don't
those
need
guys.
Tyreek Hill.
I mean, I would maybe take Justin Jefferson. I get where they're coming from, though, at the same time.
Well, and, people, Kevin Byers trying to get Caleb to be the QB there. We don't need to be doing that with Caleb. Yeah. You can let him focus on his Bears duties and let the flag football stars of the world play the flag football Olympics. But this is it was just very interesting. Coach Pat and Dale, they're not asking for money at all. They're just have it rolling already. Which just hearing that there's support for that is
and equipment isn't
amazing.
cheap.
Football is not it's an expensive sport, but we've at least I guess made it somewhat affordable so these kids can do it, which is awesome.
Well, especially with the equipment to be safe. You can throw any old
Well, you have
equipment
to
on.
condition the helmets every year too.
Right.
It's a process. It's not, and because for that exact reason, you want it to be safe as possible. All right, we got some shout outs and things. I have a controversial New York versus Chicago take. I'm debating whether or not I'm actually going to say it. And we got super chats as well. Did you guys see Jordan Love throughout the first pitch at the Brewers game?
Woof. Looked like a Packer quarterback to me. Actually, not a Packer quarterback.
Have you seen this, Greg?
I've seen it.
I would have thought you would have been all over it.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It was very unimpressive.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. We've seen bad.
Like, was he trying to throw like a pass over the middle kind of throw?
He threw it like he was like lobbing it to a running back in the flat.
Right. Because if not, he's never. It's like he's never thrown a baseball before in his life.
Which, if that might be true, and it is very different from a football, but for somebody who's an NFL quarterback, I was a little surprised.
To me, it looks like his shoulder's messed up, and he's not going to be able to function properly for the Packers this year. I mean, he just lofted it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
he doesn't know how to throw. That's his problem.
Well, he maybe thought that Yelich wasn't able to. That guy's been going the wrong way for a while now too. So maybe he's just being nice to Christian. I don't know. Who cares? What are the?
Well, Ben Johnson versus Jordan Love in the first pitch battle. I mean, it's
That's
not even
true.
close.
I mean,
Adam Hoge versus Jordan Love.
Yeah. Once I saw the center field angle, I think Ben Johnson's might actually been better than mine.
Both had pretty nice pitches there.
His technically ended up outside the strike zone, but he had a little bit more zip on his.
Yeah.
I took a little off just to make sure I didn't bounce it in.
Do you realize that in your life you get to host a Bears podcast with me, and you got to throw out a first pitch?
Oh,
Like,
no,
seriously.
it's without a doubt the greatest athletic achievement of my life.
How did that happen? You got to throw out the first pitch.
We both worked at WGN Radio, and for some reason they asked me and not you.
No, that was just how that went.
And my greatest
I was
athletic
the Sox fan, so
You
I
deserved
would
it.
have been upset if they.
You absolutely deserved it.
my greatest athletic achievement of my life was closest to the pin last year at our golf outing.
Yeah, some would say that was sketchy, but
Wasn't sketchy. I had witnesses, like 30 of them.
yeah, but one of them was Steven, so that's not.
I don't even know.
I didn't witness it.
Did anybody from Humboldt Park hear anybody ask what Greg's favorite best athletic accomplishment was, or did someone just moved the?
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
You were closest to the pin.
Yeah,
baby.
closest to the
That was-
pin.
That was a good
Looking
job.
to take my title back this year.
Also wanted to give a shout out one of my best friends in the world, Tim Nelson, who's been working at NBC Sports basically as long as I've been doing this with the Bears. Went to high school together at St. Ignatius down the street, and he finally decided to get married to Erica, who they've been together as long as I've been with my wife. For some reason, they've just never gotten married.
Wow,
They
calling
finally
them
did.
out.
That's why I was in
Okay.
Brooklyn over the weekend.
We ate at Grimaldi's.
Yeah, Greg's really mad at me about going to Grimaldi's, which you don't know is an outstanding pizza place in Brooklyn, right by the Brooklyn Bridge.
There's like 8 locations around the U.S.
Yeah.
So like a couple times I've been to Arizona in the last few years. Like it's a requirement for me to go there because they got a good one there. But yeah, it originated in New York.
So you haven't been in the one in New York?
No,
right?
I've
So
never
if you
been to.
go
I've
there,
never
there's-
been to New York.
You've never been in New York?
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not
Well,
lucky.
you should go.
Maybe this is the year you'll come with me to the U.S. Open. We'll spend
I
it.
doubt it.
We'll spend a day.
I tried to take a picture of.
You did.
Yeah, I missed the main tennis court though. For you, we were flying in, and we were right there by Flushing Park Meadows. Right?
Sure. Yes.
What's the stadium's name? I can't even remember it.
You did not get a picture of Arthur Ashe Stadium. You did not get a picture of the grandstand. You did not get a picture of.
Well, I took
of
a
Arms.
picture of the
You took
Mets
a
stadium.
You took a picture of the Mets Stadium, but the boardwalk that heads towards the U.S. Open was on there, so you allowed me to look at that and remember when I got arrested trying to buy tickets. Don't do this, kids. About 10 years ago, that was that happened, handcuffed and everything.
10 years ago?
10 years
I thought
ago.
that was in Chicago.
Yeah,
It was
no,
in-
that was the Bulls game
the
in
Bulls
the 90s.
game in '93. That was that one.
This was new information.
Also handcuffed.
We have a great sponsor named Game Time. Great
If
way to buy
anything,
tickets that are legal.
If there's
Yeah,
anything
no,
you should be
that's the way
arrested
to-
for, it's your takes on the show.
Thank you, Greg. I think
That might happen.
Yeah. There are some people who watch the show that would like to see me arrested for my takes on the show. Thank you. I appreciate all
Do
of
I
you.
do the pizza take or not?
This you might be arrested for.
It's up to
I mean,
you,
you have
buddy.
to at this point.
It's up to you. I've got some positive things that we can end the show with. So if you want to go down this road, you're welcome to it. I mean, I think it's important to be honest in life.
Look, we have great pizza in this town, and we do a lot of things better than New York. Although Carman apparently disagrees with that. I don't know if we're going to go there or not.
We're going to go there.
I hate to say it, but New York pizza is better than Chicago pizza. It is.
What are you
Now,
defining
it's different,
as?
and it depends on what you want. Like if you want deep dish, then obviously Chicago's better. I don't even think they really sell that in New York. I'm sure they do, but authentic New York style pizza is objectively better than tavern style pizza in Chicago, which I also love, but it is better.
You know, on the day that we have the Humboldt Park Patriots in here, for you to I sit there and talk about New York pizza greater than Chicago pizza, and you're also you're failing, you're missing the point. The point.
What's the point?
The point is that deep dish, the lasagna style that like New Yorkers, it's lasagna. No. It is objectively better. That thick piece of cheese or pepperoni, or get yourself the Chicago special with the sausage, the mushroom, and the onion. That bite itself cannot. Your thin slice of cheese from New York. There's no comparison between those two. One fills up your mouth with an absolute just explosion of flavor. The other is just like it's good. There's a difference there.
Greg, you've been awfully quiet.
Well, I've never been to New York to have like authentic.
Yeah, but if you went to Grimaldi's, even if it was somewhere else, it's pretty.
I mean, we're calling that New York style pizza.
Yeah, what they saw. Yes, the hot honey pepperoni that you were yelling at me.
I mean, I will say Grimaldi's. There's great pizza, and then Grimaldi's is 10 steps above any other pizza I've ever had in my life.
So you agree with me?
I mean, around here, Aurelio's if we're going thin crust, Pequod's if we're going deep dish. All due respect to other deep dish outlets.
So this is a true story. I have a neighbor who obviously lives here. He's my neighbor, but he grew up on the East Coast, and I was talking to him last week about how I was going to Brooklyn, and he was like, "You need to go here. You need to go here." And he's like, now he took it a step further. He's like, "The pizza here is terrible," and I was like, "Whoa! I'm not trying to say that, but I was ready to have an argument with him, and then I went this weekend, and I was like, you know what? I mean, we had a 16-inch pizza, just my wife and I, and we were like, "Oh, we'll have some leftovers," and it was gone.
Of course.
And you're talking about Grimaldi's.
Yes, this is Grimaldi's.
Isn't that your first time ever being there?
Quattro formaggio with prosciutto on it.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Sounds like a Starbucks order.
It's just Italian.
Well, listen, the whole chat. It's Art of Pizza. It's Giordano's. It's Lou Mal's. It's Pequod's. I mean, come on.
Pequod's is the best here, by the way.
That's your opinion. Some people think it's a little too doughy.
So that was your first time at Grimaldi's?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a tip. If you ever go out there to actually Brooklyn, there's a place next door called Juliana's, which I had been to before, and a lot of people think that's even better. And there was a line out there outside that place when I could walk straight into Grimaldi's. So it's one of those things where I'm guessing the locals would be like, "Yeah, go to Juliana's over Grimaldi's."
Well,
but the fact that they have two of them right next to each other.
Well, if we ever end up going to New York for some kind of trip, we'll do a live show like in between both, and I'll be happy to put this to the test.
Look, John's on Bleecker Street. Just being in that neighborhood in New York City is an amazing thing. New York, and where I'll get in trouble here, New York's just better. It just is. The bagels are better. The transportation system is better.
Transportation is definitely better.
If you get a BLT in Chicago or a BLT in New York, somehow it's better in New York. I don't know why. If it's the competition, the cheeseburger is better. Literally every block in New York, there's a Chinese place, there's the burger place, there's your barber shop, the energy of New York City. There's no place in the world like it. I highly recommend a weekend. Now, it's not affordable. You can't live there, and they don't have alleys.
You had the whole chat on your side, and then you just threw it away.
I'm coming back. They don't have alleys. There's garbage everywhere.
That.
But of course, so
have you guys had
garbage cans now?
Have you guys had Zaza here in Chicago? That's a New York style. That's a New York style pizza place.
Check it out.
The food carts are amazing too. By the way, I love a good food cart. Although I got to say, I was walking around downtown here yesterday. There's a million food carts with they were selling the fruit. It was delicious. Anyway, I love this city. I love it. But
I'm not going to go all the way with you on food in general because Chicago has amazing food, and I would say we do steak and steakhouses way better than New York.
We have great steak here. We have great food.
But the transportation situation, we could definitely improve here.
The L compared to New York City,
different ball game.
You might as well be walking if you're compared to what they do over there. That's okay though. Well, we're fine. We can just slowly make our way.
I did walk a lot. It was a great. I had never spent much time in Brooklyn, like outside of just right by the bridge. It was pretty good. All right.
We have Jordan.
We have
they
super chats.
whatever.
Real quickly, though, to shout out to our diehards, too, as well. Now's a great time to become a diehard. ALLCHGO.com/diehard. All the same perks. Get 20% off all of our merch, 20% off our events. I think you get $50 off your foursome if you come to the golf outing next week. That's a diehard exclusive. And all the extra content that we provide you all the time, too. ALLCHGO.com/diehard.
So, in breaking news on that, the Cookout Classic, Friday, June 6th, 8 a.m. You know, y'all had your opportunity.
Oh, did it sell?
No way.
You all had your opportunity
Oh, what happened?
to book the best foursome, but y'all slept on it. And my guy,
Which one of your buddies bought it?
I have no idea who my guy is, but Han Solo reached out to me on Twitter, whoever he is, my guy Han Solo, and he asked if I would be willing to golf with a Packer fan.
Oh, no.
And I said I absolutely. And he's like, I also have two other Bears fans, and apparently Bear fan Blake made the booking, and it is official. It is. I am off the board. You can no longer golf with me because my foursome is going to be the greatest with Han, with Blake, and whoever the third is. We will be having the most fun. So shout out to Han, shout out to Blake.
Wait, a Packer fan bought your foursome, though?
He's
That's perfect.
Two Bears fans, one Packer fan, and yours truly. It's going to be.
I don't know who bought mine.
Well, all three.
Yes, we now you so I mean, obviously we'd love you to come out, period, and just get yourself. You don't even have to have a foursome. You can just be an individual coming out to golf, and we'll pair you up.
All right.
But everybody didn't think it was going to sell.
Now we're going to have a little scramble competition between our teams.
We should.
Now that all three of us have sold
We can't
here.
compete with the cheaters that always win the outing anyway.
Yeah, like
So-
Corey Wooten.
Yeah. Well, that's different. He can just hit the ball 400 yards.
That's cheating.
It's not fair.
You're so
Like on the green in 3, yes. Corey's like on the green in 1. Like, get out of here. Leave.
He did at Cog Hill last year. That first hole was really short. At least the first one he played, I think. And he was just like, the ball was like 3 feet from the green. What?
I mean, I don't know if we're actually trying to win any scrambles. I'm trying to win the most fun award, which Solo and Blake and company, I hear they're great degenerates. So,
do you know who got yours? Because I don't know who got mine.
He just said that 3 times.
I didn't listen.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't. It's intriguing. We do need to get going here, though. We got
We
super
do?
chats to get to, and we have a big Blackhawk show
Oh.
coming up.
Okay, sorry.
Steven, what time's that show start? 2:00 today. They introduced a new head coach today, Jeff Blashill. So we got a ton of coverage coming from that if you're interested in what's going on with the Blackhawks and their new coach. So that's coming up at 2:00.
What just happened?
What's funny?
The first super chat. Read it.
Garden Hoser, $2. Carm reminds me of my very sweet grandmother.
Thanks, Garden Hoser. I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Are these clean super chats today, Steve?
I wanted to be. I always wanted to be a sweet grandmother deep down.
Craig Leach, $20. Misquoting cynical Carm coming in hot.
There it is.
There was no misquoting Leach, and Leach, you're quickly becoming Pizzatola Jr., who I respect you, Leach. That's good stuff.
Pizzatola today. Wyatt Carey, $5. Just signed up for the outing. Shot my first eagle last Saturday.
All right, Wyatt.
So ready for next Friday.
Solo and Blake are going to take you down, Wyatt. Know that.
Yeah. Joshua, $5. I'm planning on going to the Vegas game. I already have airfare and hotel covered. Is there an option for tailgate festivities and a game ticket?
You definitely want to use us for both of those because those tickets are going to.
You could purchase the tailgate only option on True Fan Travel.
Is that
right
up there now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about game ticket though. That you might have to have the whole package to actually get a ticket.
Yeah, that would probably.
There
make
is
sense.
an option on there to ask True Fan Travel, contact them directly, and they're very responsive and can help you out with specifics. So if there is something available, they can help you. Finally, Robert Lee, $5. Keep doing what you gentlemen are doing. We appreciate all of it. Just maybe less harmonica, a lot less harmonica. LOL, CHGO, the best.
General, don't monitor the Carmonica like that.
then
People love the Carmonica.
Somebody signed up for the golf outing that got an eagle. I forgot their name, so I wanted to give them a shout out in the chat.
We just read it.
Just did that. Welcome back.
So this is a lesson to Humboldt Park. What you want to do when you're in class is pay attention. You want to.
I was looking for it in the chat.
I understand, but so if you listening can get you to places in life that you might not normally get to.
No.
Now Greg got here without listening, so this is actually not a good example.
Suckers.
But I would recommend that just to do the listening route. It's better.
No listening.
All right. Fun show. And again, shout out to the Humboldt Park Patriots for being here today.
Yeah.
It was great talking to them. And just good luck this season. Anything we can do to help, we appreciate it. We want updates. We definitely want updates too on everything going on. So we'll get that. All right. Tomorrow, special showtime tomorrow because the Bears have an OTA practice that is open. So we will be out there covering practice and coming to you at 4 p.m. just like last week. 4 p.m. special show post-practice tomorrow here on CHGO. Make sure you check out all of our other content throughout the day. And again, we got a big Blackhawk show coming up at 2 o'clock as they cover the introductory press conference for Jeff Blashill. Yeah, fun show today. Always got stuff all over CHGO. We will talk to you tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
We all silly like the mayor.